Hey guys, it's CS Joseph with csjoseph.life. Today is going to be a start of some new seasons or series, playlists, etc. on some, what a lot of people have been waiting for, and that is compatibility. So, compatibility is really, really complicated. In fact, there is no one standard with which anyone can follow compatibility with type. It's actually multiple standards simultaneously. For example, so you have to break this down in types of relationships. What kinds of relationships are available? For the purpose of this series, I'm actually going to be using the whiteboard a lot, and I got a really big one, and as long as I could find the appropriate easel for it. I tried to hang it up on my wall, but that turned into a disaster. So, because it's big and heavy. So, got a different whiteboard for this, and hopefully it works out. I think it will. Got a bunch of dry erase markers. Will be using different colors as well. So, anyway. Compatibility. So there's different kinds of relationships, and it's important to keep track of the different kinds of relationships in order to really understand compatibility. And from these three different types of relationships, once we understand the logic behind each relationship, we're actually able to develop an algorithm using a weighted average and average out each of these three compatibility indices, three types of relationships, and come up with an index which shows percentage of compatibility per person. And now some of it's weighted higher than others, like different styles of relationships basically. But at the end of it, you'll basically understand specifically how compatible you are with each type. Now, a warning. It's not about the specific, it's not about the total average or weighted average between your compatibility with other types. It's not about that. I really want to stress how important it is that you take into consideration the logic behind each relationship style, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about relationship styles as which creates, compatibility per the types depending on situations. And this could be social situations, this could be working situations, this could be sexual situations. Those are the three relationship styles, social, working, and sexual. I'm going to be starting off with social compatibility first, because that's more general. It's more average. It's just it's basic. It's the basic relationship style. The more advanced styles are the sexual versus working. But let's talk about those styles. So, sexual compatibility, when I get to that series, we're going to be doing a comparison between any type versus all the other types, which ones are the most compatible, which ones are the least compatible, right? From there, we should be able to have a better idea of how it works. Now, speaking in sexuality, it's not the end-all be-all. The reason is I will likely end up doing a series just before I dive into sexual compatibility and provide sexual profiles for each of the 16 types, in the same way that I did for virtue and vice, and also just the type profiles for each type. I'm going to do 16 lectures on sexuality and how each type really applies itself to sexuality before I go into any of the actual relationship style for sexuality itself, right? So it's really complicated. In general, that's the point I'm trying to make. It's super complicated. Working compatibility, the working relationship style, it's also just as complicated. So I'm going to be doing profiles on each of the types to show how they approach their work, right? How they approach being on the job, or management, or being a worker bee, etc., and how they approach each, and what makes them different from others, and particularly which roles fit others, right? Which roles fit what roles, which types fit which roles in an organization, or if they're like a sole proprietor, entrepreneur, etc. We're going to be exploring each of those components as well. So, first series, social compatibility. It's more general. I used to call it general compatibility, and it kind of goes along with each of the 16 type personality profiles, etc. So we're going to do that first because I already have my general profiles for the 16 types up. Once that's done, we'll dive into sexuality and working relationship styles. So it's a lot of content. We're probably going to be doing 16 for social, and 32 for sexual, and 32 for working, just so we have all of the profiles up. And then once we have that, then we can actually dive into the comparing. So just a lot of content, but it is necessary, and I want to do this intro just to make sure that everyone knows how exactly this works. But like I said, the bottom line is, when you're looking at the type compatibility videos, so the next series that I'm kicking off is the social compatibility. When you're looking at social compatibility in this relationship style, emphasize the importance of the logic between the cognitive functions. Emphasize that instead of looking at it from a big picture. Do not look at it from a big picture, because if you look at it from a big picture, you're going to find yourself confused, or because then you'll be able to see the algorithm and figure out on like a percentage scale how compatible you are with each type after knowing social, sexual, and working compatibilities. Like that's going to be a little interesting. So yeah. Also, I would like to mention, this is kind of unrelated, but on my website, csjoseph.life, if you need a tool or would like to have a tool to help you type yourself or others, we have the type grid from the video available. You just throw in your email on the front page. Oh no, you're going to be spamming us with your newsletter. Well, no, actually, if you sign up on my website and put in your email, and then you're able to download the infographic, which is the type grid. It shows all the interaction styles multiplied by the temperaments. If you actually do that, here's how my newsletter is going to go. It'll be like, oh yeah, here's this coupon thing. Okay, sure, but that's not why you'd really want to do this. I'm going to be doing private lectures just for people who are signed up on my email. So I send out a newsletter probably maybe up to 4 times a month, or maybe twice a month. Haven't decided quite yet. But you'll be getting access to lectures that are private, that are not available on YouTube just to anyone. So you have to sign up with your email to get access to these lectures. They won't even be available on my podcast, right? So anytime you open up an email, at least there's something cool that you can have, and you don't have to use the coupon. You don't have to pay for anything, and I'm not going to be wasting your time spamming your mailbox. I'll be straight with you. I hate email marketing. I hate it. But the thing is that I would like to be able to start having a really good personal relationship with this audience, and I really care about this audience and what we're doing, and how we've been able to change lives thus far. So with this audience, I wanted to make this available so I could see, okay, who's really, who's really going all in, right? So, and to reward those people, I wanted to give you private lectures and private content specifically for people who are on my email list. So that's starting. I believe that functionality is already available on my very work in progress website, but we're growing it and we're getting there. So just toss me your email, you get the type grid for free, and then I will be providing you with private lectures through your mailbox multiple times a month, so you can have access to content that's not readily available on YouTube or the podcast or anywhere else. So it's pretty dope, just saying. All that being said, I'm also going to be doing another lecture here on cognitive functions. We're going to be going over that, just doing one more because it was requested. We're also going to be doing some type comparison videos based on requests as well. And we're also going to be doing the deep dive into social compatibility relationship style. So that's what's coming up for this channel. It's important to me to start doing these, channel updates or podcast updates between the big series or the seasons, etc., depending if you're like a podcast user, just so that we have, just so that you understand what's coming, instead of me just going all willy-nilly like I have been, trying to communicate more with you guys out there so that we understand what's coming. So, awesome. With all that being said, I got many more to shoot today, so I'll see you guys tonight.